Laurie?
Hiya, I'm Laurie Cummins. I'm a Programs Officer at Leeds Community Foundation in Bradford.
Thank you. And Jess?
I'm Jess Johnson. I'm Communications Officer here at Leeds Community Foundation at Bradford.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're good to go, Jess. Thanks very much. Cool. So we'll just start off, I guess, a bit about us in case kind of we're new to you. So Leeds Community Foundation is part of a network of 46 community foundations across the UK with kind of a central foundation called UKCF. Leeds Community Foundation and Give Bradford aim to create opportunities for all, working with a variety of partners across both Leeds and Bradford to make a positive impact in communities. We generate and invest philanthropic giving and statutory funding to deliver grants and expertise to organisations. In 2022, we were awarded 4.2 million in grants, which equated to 389 individual grants to 287 organisations. Our vision as a foundation is to build a better future now, and we value being ambitious for all, passionate about creating positive impact, being open and honest and responsive, and also empowering through sharing and knowledge, as well as challenging and supporting. So in terms of our application process, all the information you need for each programme is available online on our website and through grants alerts, which you can sign up as well on our website. Please make sure you do read the full criteria before applying, as they do vary from programme to programme. To apply for any of the grants that we have, all the forms are online, and you should include any supporting documents that are asked for as well. We do have example applications as well on our website that could be of use. We do have word limits on each of the applications, and they are a maximum rather than a guidance. You can also save a draft of your application online as you work on it and then can submit once it's finished. Please do contact us if you're unsure about anything in the criteria or the application forms. We're always here to help. And once the application has been submitted, we will send you a receipt of acknowledgement. And we also may contact your referee if you're new to us. If your application is shortlisted, once it's been submitted, it will go to the grants panel for further consideration. I'll now pass on to Maria.
Hi everyone. So yeah, just a bit about our standard criteria. Before I run through this, I will say that if you are looking at any particular programmes, please make sure you read the criteria, that particular programme, because sometimes they vary. But our standard criteria, we do only fund not-for-profit organisations. So whether that's a CIC, limited by guarantee, a registered charity, and so on. Excuse me, forgot to take my hay fever tablet this morning.
Sorry, guys.
Hiya.
Sorry.
That's fine. If you just put it on mute, Tracy, thank you. So we expect to see at least 3 trustees or directors, none of whom are related, live at the same address or have significant control. Your governing document tells us how you're managed, so we expect to see a copy of that. And we do check like Companies House, Charities Commission, and so on. Excuse me. We expect to see that you have a bank or building society in the name of the organisation, with a minimum of 2 unrelated signatories. And we also want to see a copy of your accounts, just to see how your finances are managed. And if you work with children or adults at risk, we expect to see a copy of your safeguarding policy. Our decision-making process, usually we go to an independent panel for the majority of our funds, and that will vary. So we do try really hard to get people from relevant communities and so on to make those decisions around the grants. So for example, if a programme works with young people, we might have somebody from the youth service and young people on that particular panel. The panel's role is to bring that understanding around decisions and insight, I've noticed somebody's just scribbled. If you could not kind of scribble on the slides, please. Excuse me, I'm really struggling here. The majority of our funds do tend to be oversubscribed, and we do try to give feedback around applications as well to support you next time with your application. You can have the next slide, please. Thanks, Jess. If you've kind of followed any of our Open Grants briefings before, you know I always say that reporting and evaluation starts at the beginning. So if you're fortunate enough to be awarded a grant, you'll receive a link to an online report. So you'll be able to see straight away what sort of questions we ask. Sorry about this, I'm really struggling. So obviously evaluation is really important. It's important to you in terms of making sure your activity or whatever the work you're doing is responding to the needs of the people you work with. But it's really helpful to us to see how that work is being managed and delivered, and what went well, what the challenges were, and so on. So kind of accessing that input, that online report is an important part of the feedback process. And also completing those reports means we can go back to the funders and encourage them to continue giving their support to your communities. Right, if we can move on to the next slide, please. So we're just going to talk through some of our open programmes.
Thanks, Maria. So the first one we've got here is Ideas That Change Lives. There's two types of grants available for this programme. There's the Kickstart grants between 500 and 4,000, and development grants between 4,000 and 12,000. The programme is currently live on our website, and the deadline is the 5th of June at 12 noon. So the aim of this fund is to support organisations that have social enterprising ideas and projects to support people in Leeds with care and health needs and support needs. For the Kickstart grants, as it's a smaller amount of money, this can be kind of activities that look at piloting something, researching feasibility studies, ideas around health and wellbeing activities and employment opportunities. For development grants, we expect that the research element already been conducted, and there to be an idea of how the project will be sustainable through trading activities and services. In addition to the development grants, we do ask that a cash flow forecast and business plan are submitted or to outline in the application when they will be produced. The people that can be supported through this grant can be found on the criteria document, but it can include older people, people with a disability or sensory impairment, homeless people. There's as I said, a list on the criteria document. We do also ask that all potential applicants contact Luann Roberts at See Ahead to discuss your idea before submitting. See Ahead provides professional advice around social enterprises and social enterprising ideas, and it's free advice for all organisations thinking of doing this. Also, the advice is available all year round, so in case you have a more general idea and you're not ready for this fund specifically, Luann and her team are available to discuss these ideas with you. I'll pass on to Maria now.
Sorry, my mic won't switch off then. Hi everyone. So Pears Youth Fund, this programme's open at the moment. It's for organisations based in Bradford or Leeds, and closes 20th of June. So you've got a few weeks yet to look at this one. So Pears Youth Fund, this has been running for a few years now. It's a nice programme for youth organisations because it offers quite flexible funding. So it offers £10,000 grants, and they are fixed grants as opposed to applying for amounts up to £10,000. So those fixed grants can be used flexibly over 1, 2 or 3 years, and they can use towards your core costs. They can be used towards activities with young people or a combination of both. So I will just emphasise that with Pears Youth Fund, it can only be used to support organisations who are youth organisations. So it's not simply about activity with young people, it's about your organisation's purpose being around work with young people and children. And I'm just going to give you a bit of a definition here. So young people will be the only or primary focus of your organisation. So please check your objects in your governing document and just check that they do outline that your focus is on young people. And if you're an organisation that works with communities as well as young people, so a more broader remit, what we'd expect to see is that around 70% or more of your work is with children and young people. So if I'm over-egging this, it's because we do still get a lot of applications that are unfortunately ineligible. So we don't want you to spend that time working on your application, because obviously we do realise a lot of work goes into applying for funding. So we don't want you to be wasting your time. We want you to make sure you're eligible before applying. So there are lots of information on the website, and we've also got an FAQs document for this particular programme. So do read that and contact us if you've got any questions. So next one, please. Okay, so we've just run our very first round of climate action leads, and we offered microgrants and small grants. So our second round of the microgrants is due to open in August. This information at the moment is still to be confirmed, so it might be that some of this changes a little bit, but at the moment the grant sizes are expected to be up to £1,000, and these are really aimed at smaller organisations with income under £35,000 a year. That might change, but at the moment that's the limit, and it can support anything that's focused on reducing carbon or being more nature friendly. So it might be that you run things like clothing swaps, recycling hubs, composting schemes. You might have a community space where you want to introduce some planting schemes, some kind of workshops, anything really. We're really kind of keen to hear your ideas around climate action friendly projects and activities for people. Thank you.
So this is one of mine, the Leeds Digital Inclusion Fund, which is coming up soon. It's opening at the end of this month on the 30th of May. So this is a programme that we're working on with 100% Digital Leeds, which is a team dedicated to digital inclusion across the city. And as it says here, it's for the development and delivery of sustainable digital inclusion interventions. So the criteria for that is pretty broad. That can be, you know, initial test and learn type projects, or much bigger expansion of work that's already happening. The aim is to fund a mixture of projects at different stages, basically. And yeah, something to know about this is that if you're thinking of applying, there's a lot of things that can be funded. It can include equipment as well as staff costs, so it's a mixed fund. If you want advice on this, 100% Digital Leads are there to offer advice on your application, as well as what it is that you might actually need to effectively introduce digital inclusion in your offer. Because it's such a specific programme, we are running a specific grants briefing for that, and I think that's in early June. I want to say 12th of June, but please do check the grants page on the website in case I've got that date wrong. Yeah, next slide, please, Jess. Thanks. Also coming up fairly soon, the Bradford Youth Fund. So this is a programme we've been running for a few years, and it's aimed at empowering young people in Bradford, simple as that. There are some specific themes this year that the funding will have to fit into. They're fairly broad, and they are all aimed at upskilling, empowering, enabling young people to achieve, succeed, have good experiences. And just to point out, one of the themes this year is stuff that ties in with the upcoming Bradford 2025 City of Culture. So there is a big focus on arts and creative outputs for this year as well. Next slide, please, Jess. Another recurring round that we have is our Leeds Fund and Bradford Fund microgrants. Bradford's on the next slide, but we do have aligned the criteria now. So these two funds have the same criteria. The one that you apply for is really about which local authority the activity is based in. So we've just closed a round of these as well. So the next one, as you can see there, is opening in July, but we run 4 rounds a year. So if you're not ready for that round, hold on to the idea, apply next time. The criteria for these is really very broad. It's mostly just about supporting communities. We're keen to hear how that works for you and your organisation and your communities. So it is, as I say, incredibly broad. It can be for organisational development work as well. And it's up to £2,500. The priority for the fund is smaller and more emerging organisations, but we will fund anything up to an income of 75k. But yeah, and that's essentially the same, but within the Bradford Metropolitan District. And just to be clear, because it's not always very clear, that does include, like Keighley, anything under the Bradford Council area. So yeah, I think that's it.
So now we've got some time for any questions, if anyone does have any.
Yeah, we're based in Halifax, but we also operate and work with partners in Leeds and Bradford. So can we apply, or can't we, to the Leeds or Bradford funds?
Hi, yes, so you can, as long as there's a demonstrable link to the communities that you're working with, and it's not just you can demonstrate that you're not just parachuting in and working with a community that you didn't previously know. That's absolutely fine, yeah.
Thank you.
I'll just add to that as well, Mohammed. Presumably you're aware of Calderdale Community Foundation as well, and they run various programmes you might be eligible for. Yeah,
we're doing a lot of work across West Yorkshire, so I just want to make sure. Cheers, thank you.
We were looking to change our bank well, about a month ago, and looked at 2 or 3 new possibilities, and each one of them is now saying, oh no, we only need 1 signatory. I think that may become a problem. We're not changing our bank now because of that, but we have met 2 or 3 people who said, oh no, we're only going to run on 1 signatory for new organisations.
So that's not an area of expertise for us, but as far as I'm aware, if it's a community or business account, you should still be able to add as many signatories as you wish.
Well, it didn't say, I know it's not yours, I'm just thinking that there will be people who are starting up who would be affected by what we found.
Hello, can I speak? Is it all right? One of the things I wanted to ask is, under the ideas that change lives, you say the deadline's the 5th of June. Is there another round after that? And similarly, you mentioned on one of them that there are like different periods during the year that you know, you can apply. I'm quite interested in the development side of the ideas that change lives, but the 5th of June is quite soon, and I just wondered if there's going to be another one after that.
Thanks, Bev. So at the moment we haven't got one planned in. It's all based on Leeds City Council funding at the moment, so we're really hoping that there will be another round at the end of this year, but we can't confirm at the moment.
Right, so as far as we know, the 5th of June is it really for that?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Is there any way of finding out sort of more in advance when you know, dates are released for the next funding for the different you know, for the different types of funding?
So we do have our grant alerts
Right.
which you can sign up on our website, and we're also on our social media. We post as soon as a program's opened.
Right.
So there are a few different ways, and also checking our website, because we do have, Ideas That Change Life has been open for a little while.
Has it?
Yeah, just because of
Right.
this briefing event, it's kind of on the latter part of it. But
Yeah.
if you sign up on our grant alerts and our social media, Maria's just put the link, and so has Jess, in the chat.
Okay, and just one other question on that. With the development side of things, is it possible to include costs for like staffing and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely.
All
You
right.
can do staff costs, and I think operational costs for up to 10%.
Right. Thank you.
No worries at all. Joe, you've got your hand up.
Hi, hello. I'll just get that down while I think on. Thank you for that. That's all really informative. And I've made a load of notes. My question is about some rounds that have just finished, actually. I'm wondering how soon we would expect to hear. There was, with regards to, and I don't know whether you can answer that, there was climate action, the health and local care, health and wellbeing one. Just wondering when we could expect to hear.
So with the local care direct one, that only closed yesterday, so we need to go through the assessment process. We're hoping to get decisions out by mid-July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
With the climate one, Joe, was it a small grants application?
Yes.
So that one goes to the public participatory panel in July. So I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head, sorry. But the decisions will be not too long after that. So probably later in July, early August. But also, just generally speaking, when you are looking at applying for any of our programmes, it normally says on the criteria document when to expect decisions. And also when you complete the application form, it'll ask you for dates for your project or delivery, whatever it might be. So usually there's information on the application form itself that gives you an idea of when to expect decisions.
Lovely, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question, but I'm not able to raise my hand up. I don't know, for some reasons.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm Emilian Tabi and we are in Leeds. I just want to ask a question about writing an evaluation. We are at the process of writing an evaluation, and my question is, are we to follow the template on the website, or can we just do it like a Word document?
So with all our reporting, it is all online, so we'd be following the template and filling that in. You can work off a Word document, as you're kind of typing it all out, but you can then copy and paste into the online forms. Yeah.
Okay. On the online form, I have another question. There are places where examples have been written and blotted with black, and we can write on top. Then on the right-hand corner, there is something like a chat box. Is that the right thing to do?
Well, I'm not sure about that.
Can I get back to you on email with this?
Yes, yeah,
All
that's
right.
no problem. I'll put my
Okay.
email address in the chat box.
I think I have it.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Thank
put it
you.
in if anyone needs it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's the example text. Is it that?
Yeah, it looks like if you go to the sample online, is an example. So there are headed notes that says the parts that have been blotted black are just examples. So I don't know.
I know with our evaluation and our application forms, sometimes there's example text in the box, but normally once you start typing in it, that example text disappears.
I think it sounds like you're looking on our website. We've got an example application, that's like a PDF document. Emily, you should actually have a link So like a website URL link you should have received by email. So
Yeah.
rather than looking at the PDF on our website, you should have like a link that you can click on that's personalized to you that nobody else can access, that should have come through when you got your kind of offer email for your grant.
Yeah.
And then that's the one. So that shouldn't have any kind of redacted information, you know, lines and things like that. That's where you should be able to fill in all of that information. As Alex said, you could write it in a Word document and then sort of copy it into those boxes if you wanted to do it that way.
Okay, now I understand, because I was trying to use the one on the website. Thank you.
That's all right. Yeah, that one won't let you do anything to it.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Could I ask, you know, under the Digital Inclusion Fund, if you're trying to update your equipment in order to reach better reach the community, your community, is it possible to pay for somebody, say for instance, we wanted a professional to work on our websites and Zoom and things like this? Would that include payment for stuff like that, or would it just be for actual equipment?
Yeah, it probably could. It would obviously have to be related to your digital inclusion offer specifically, but that's definitely possible. And if you want to talk more with 100% Digital about it, they can offer free advice on that kind of thing as well.
Right, okay. Thank you.
No worries.
Could I just ask a question about the funding itself, how it arrives? Are there any restrictions in terms of when you can spend it and account for it? Or I'm just thinking, if we were successful, but there was some slippage in our programme and our spend, would we lose the money at the end of the period if we hadn't spent it? Or I know obviously the Pears Fund one, that's got some flexibility in it, and that's really helpful, but I just wondered what the situation would be.
I'll take this one. So it varies on the fund. We try to be as flexible as we can. Our funds have a lot of different funders. Each fund is funded from a different source. So the amount of flexibility in that varies depending on whether it's a statutory source or an independent funder. But always get in touch with us in that situation. And, you know, we're very understanding. Projects don't run to plan. Things happen, people are ill, you need extensions. So always talk to us about this, and we regularly work with people to extend things, make sure it's working, reallocate budgets where possible.
That's great, lovely, thank you.
No worries.
I think if there's no more questions, we might be done. We will be sending out the recording and everything like that after the slides after the event today. So yeah, you should all receive that. And if you do have any questions that you weren't able to ask today, or anything else that pops up, please do get in touch with us. We're always happy to help. I just wanted to say, yeah, thank you so much for joining us today.